there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, fuck, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
And welcome back to yet another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. My name is Owen, your Shartbreak Kid. Along with me tonight is my good buddy Duncan, the King of Bong Style. And once again, our retaining predictions champion, the modern day Maharaja, Matthew, is here. This time, all the way from Virginia. So, the traveling man, defending belts all around the nation.
Defending champion, traveling champion. I bring it to the territories. I'm out here with the people.
Yeah, you are.
I'm out here. I walk around spraying that alcohol, getting the COVID's out of the way. It's like when Triple H spits the water, I just that COVID.
Yeah, I love
it's
it.
Like the green mist, but with sanitizer.
It's funny you bring that up because I actually read an article the other day about the green mist and if that'll ever have its place again in wrestling. Like, you know, it's kind of a hard one to pull off in a COVID era. How you gonna do the green mist? You know, spitting
you're gonna spit it right in the fucking dude's face because y'all tested negative before the match.
Yes. And I just remembered to hit record, so I'll have to do something to do the intro over here in a little bit. But that's fine.
That's gonna be fine.
Yeah, well, I'll figure something out. That being said, speaking of the predictions, it all comes from Elimination Chamber, which we'll just start out with, I think. Elimination Chamber, bit of a weird pay-per-view.
Weird, but I didn't hate it. It was the perfect amount of time. It was 2.5 hours. They did not overstay their welcome. I mean, it didn't feel like a big pay-per-view or anything, and I know it's not one of the big four, but it didn't feel huge pay-per-view-ish. But overall, I wasn't super upset with it.
I wasn't either. I mean,
but I wasn't like terribly impressed.
Yeah, it was kind of run of the mill, and I think, you know, really, the two Elimination Chamber matches were matches of the night. Let's be real about it. Like
I think the first one was the best.
I agree. I agree. I think the opening match was probably the better of the two, but I didn't hate all the stuff with the U.S. title either, with Lashley dropping it to Riddle. I mean, I think that's a good move. I think that's a good belt for Riddle to hold, and obviously frees up Lashley for stuff that we'll, I'm sure, get to in a little bit. But the women's tag match was pretty damn weak, I felt.
It was very weak.
It felt very weak. And granted, they probably didn't have much time to prepare for that.
They didn't have much time to prepare for it, but they had enough time to prepare for it.
Yeah. I mean, they must have known a day or two in advance, especially with the Lacey Evans.
They knew Friday night. They announced it Friday night.
Yeah, they did. They did know Friday night. You're right. You're absolutely right.
They've all wrestled each other before anyway. It's not like
that's also true.
We haven't seen wrestle. They know how to work.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been that strange. Like, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't have been that sort of like weak.
Yeah.
The
The lack of Asuka, not being on the show, I think kind of maybe hurt it a little bit too. I feel like if they wanted to, they probably could have slotted that in there. I'm kind of glad they didn't because I'm with you, Matthew. I think all of us actually would agree that these slightly shorter pay-per-views are helping. They're not such a slog as like they have been in the past, where it feels like, like I get it for Mania or like your big four that you might possibly want to, do these longer, epic shows. But when it's Fastlane or Chamber or whatever it is, 2.5, 3 hours seems right. It's that kind of sweet spot, especially especially when you have a match on the pre-show, that type of thing as well.
Yeah, that was like Takeover last week. Dude, it was long being there. Like,
yeah,
it was definitely like, shit. Okay, all right, 4 hours, fine.
Well, yeah, you had to get there super early too.
Yeah.
So that was, that's definitely part of it. But overall, I think we're all I think in agreement. The show was fine. It wasn't anything stand out. The two chamber matches, I liked the story. I think I liked the match a little bit more in the first one, but I kind of like the story of the second one. I like how it was Cesaro and Debray to start it off. I liked how that progressed, and I liked
that was the first one.
Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But the story in that match was great, just in the fact that it kind of explains why, of course, Debray couldn't handle Roman straight after the fact. He was the first one in in the match, and he wins the match. And I liked how it was Jey Uso at the end as well. I thought that was interesting. Am I getting that right? It was Jey Uso. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It was Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Debray were the final three, and then Jey Uso took out Cesaro. Correct? Yeah. And then of course, Debray, winning over Jey Uso. So no, I thought it was really well done. I have mixed emotions about Roman coming straight out. And
hated it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you had definitely hated it.
Fucking hated it. It was garbage. It was shit. It made Roman, like, you've already established Roman as your top heel. You don't need to make him look like he's a chicken shit.
That's a very good point. And it took any of the illusion away from me that Debray had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
At least they had the cool spot right at the beginning, where I think was Roman going for a spear, and then
he grabbed the yes lock.
Yeah, he got the yes lock right away, and it was like, oh shit, what if, like like in a twist of events. But after that part, after they gave you that little taste of that, that not false finish, but close enough to that idea.
They gave you
false hope for that second, but it was gone almost immediately after in my mind. Like as soon as he got out of that, it was it was pretty much a squash match. Wouldn't you agree?
No, it was a total squash.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it makes Debray look weak, and we know he's kind of he's on the way to ending his.
Yeah, he's winding it down, but still at the same point. I don't know, man. Like, I feel that you could have still accomplished the same effect without Roman coming down right away.
They could have put it on last, I guess, if they didn't want that moment.
Even before the second
chamber match. That's a good point. They probably could have done it there. That would have been a better spot, because you could still have that moment at the end of the show, of course, where Drew retains in the chamber, and then Chamber goes up. We all saw it. Lashley comes out. There was a bit of, I like the foreshadowing earlier in the show where Miz was, chatting with MVP and all that. I like that kind of. I think I was very convinced that it was gonna, but by the time we got to halfway through the show, and especially with the time of how quickly things were moving, I was almost certain that Miz would be cashing in. And sure enough, the Lashley thing happened. I like that it wasn't like that they added that component to it. that they added the Lashley component into the mix of things, and that, you know, it was almost Lashley's dominance over Drew, which allowed the Miz to become.
Oh, that's 100%. Like,
yeah.
And I think that, I mean, you got to think that Bobby takes the title.
One would have to assume. Little interesting fact that I read today that I had no idea really, and until I think WWE
is
announced
this about
it.
the Miz's accolade?
Yeah, becomes the first 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's very impressive, and honestly, like, it is a big fuck you to all the people like Bradshaw in the locker room that, you know, were just complete and utter dicks to him, and here he is.
He probably deserved some of that early on. Let's be real.
No,
but
I don't think he deserved quite as much as he got.
No, but I mean, he was obviously green back in the day, and like,
the things that they did to him were above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
They were fucking with him harder because he came from MTV.
Yes.
Is purely what it was, and it was a total dick move on everybody's part for doing it, because look who's still around.
Man, no kidding. He's been wrestling for something like 15 years now.
16 years.
Crazy.
It's crazy to think
that, but like, first double Grand Slam champion,
right?
And not only that, but has a fucking very successful TV show.
Yep.
Like,
I actually like the Miz as a person. I preferred his character a couple of years ago, especially after the Talking Smack segment and, you know, the infamous one with Daniel Bryan. And we all thought at that point that it was the time for the Miz then to possibly, you know, take the belt. I see, you know, maybe why they waited, and obviously right now the Miz he's not the most inspiring of champions, let's be real, but I think it's transitional, and I think you're absolutely right, Duncan. I think that, I mean, I think you kind of have to drop it to Lashley. If not on next week's Raw, you have to do it at Fastlane.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, I don't know that there's, like, how does it work if there's a screwy finish, Miz is somehow able to get out of next week's, you know, Raw unscathed? I mean, I guess you could have Morrison interfere or do something like that. But then how do you set up, like, I don't know that you can do many Lashley Miz matches, you know? It's like, it should be a 1 or 2 and done tops.
It's got to be like something like I mean, Lashley's going to dominate him.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen in one of them. If you do more than one, John Morrison's going to do something. He's going to try and do it in Miz's favor. It's going to fuck up. It's going to fuck the Miz over. Miz loses the title. You do a Miz John Morrison feud where that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gave him the title. Now he does this. Lashley and McIntyre, and then once his feud with John Morrison's done, Miz can try and come back into that picture, maybe.
I think if it weren't for the fact that they're really shooting for this Miz and Morrison versus Priest and Bad Bunny thing at Mania,
there's that
I think
too.
that would be likely. I know that thing that we're all looking forward to, because as Americans, we have no idea who Bad Bunny is.
Looking forward to
match
it so
of the
much
year.
I forgot about it.
Yes, exactly.
It's gonna be match of the year.
I had to put it out of my mind because I just couldn't sleep at night. I was getting
too excited.
I will say on last night's Raw, Priest and Angel Garza had a really, really good match. And
I missed that.
And they really did. They had a solid. They gave him a little bit of time. It was a 13-minute, you know, wrestling match. It had Bad Bunny on the outside doing the Bad Bunny thing with the 24/7 championship. But, you know, apart from kind of
being Bad Bunny,
and apart from the finish of that match, it was really good. It was actually good to see Angel Garza back on TV as well. But I have high hopes for Priest in the sense that they're probably building him better on the main roster than they have kind of anyone in recent memory.
Yeah, and I think that from what I read, is that they see him as that sort of next big Latin star that they can sort of push to that demographic. I mean,
And fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's good. But why not Andrade? Why did they not do that with Andrade?
Why not Garza?
I mean, why not Garza? But I'm just saying, like, why not Andrade?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you could do it with both of them.
I think it's because, honestly, Andrade's English isn't good enough in Vince's eyes.
I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right.
Like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like, and the same way, like, with Roosh in Ring of Honor, like, he couldn't get signed in WWE because, like, his English isn't good enough for Vince either. Like, Vince is very...
But then like, you have Asuka.
Right.
I
and
know.
her English, it's like, it's this weird,
Asuka speaks better English than she does on TV.
Yes, she does.
I know.
Asuka,
I know she does, but like, that's the thing. Like, if the thing is speaking English on TV, that Vince,
she's still not doing
like,
it.
But she used to. But like, that's the thing, is like, she did a lot more
before she kind of went into this like super hype, crazy Asuka that she is now.
And now all she does is make like weird noises.
Yeah.
And dance around for reasons.
I know, Matthew. I know you hate it, don't you? Like it's funny. Yeah.
It annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, you can't stand it.
I
kind of like it. It's one of my things. But I'll tell you who I feel a little bit bad for is in all this, kind of fallout from Elimination Chamber and how things are shaping up towards Mania. It's kind of feel bad for Shamus. Because where does he fit into this picture at the moment? Like,
who gives a shit? He's won the belt enough times.
He has. But I liked this. I kind of like this snatched Irish gypsy version of Sheamus.
Snatchy blinders.
Yeah, snatchy blinders.
Yeah, I think that's why they did what they did with Jeff Hardy last night. They put on like a pretty good match, and but at least he came out dominant, so it kind of saves him from the loss at Elimination Chamber and kind of keeps him somewhat in that picture. Unfortunately. With Mania season, I think he can get lost in that picture, and who knows if then he gets used after that. Yeah. That's the tough part.
The thing about Sheamus is that he has won the big title enough times, and he's got enough accolades, but nobody ever thinks of him on the level of that.
No, yeah, you are right. He's always been that kind of like top mid-carder guy that they've pushed as the top guy.
Right.
That's not ever really quite met the expectations of really the what the fans expect from like a top guy.
But recently,
I
like how they've been booking him. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you there.
No, you're good. I think that I like how they've been booking him recently, but I think that what they wanted from Sheamus is they wanted him to sort of grow into that more like not Randy Orton character, but grow to be that Randy Orton level that Randy aspired and achieved really quick in his career. But because Sheamus is Triple H's workout buddy,
he's always going to have a spot, pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. And that's how he got his spot in the first place.
Good question from the chat room coming from Facebook. Any thoughts on why Drew didn't even come out and say a word? I'm guessing he's referring to on Raw, how he didn't even come out, on Raw and say anything. I think it's because they're trying to shift the focus a bit more onto Lashley, and that once Lashley has the belt, we can obviously set up an instant feud with Drew and Lashley, getting Drew back into the picture.
Yeah.
For Mania. And I have this, I've heard this theory, and I think it has some weight, but I don't think it's just going to be Drew and Lashley. I think we get Brock back, and it's a 3-way with Brock, Lashley, and Drew at Mania.
Why is it every pay-per-view you're just like, you know what? Brock's coming back.
Because it's Mania. And Mania is Brock, and I think there's a lot of people that have been clamoring for Lashley and Brock all these years, and it's never happened. He also has the vendetta against Drew for, him being beaten last year, and I can just see that it sort of mixes the worlds of something that the the Smarks want to see with Drew and Lashley, but it also brings those eyes for Mania and makes it that much more heightened by having Brock in a match like that.
The only reason that I'm going to say no to Brock at Mania at all this year is because he lives in Canada.
Because of the travel restrictions and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah. I mean, that's a fair point, but I do think for Mania and a hefty payday, he would come down and spend 2 weeks in quarantine or whatever it is so that
I don't think that it works that way in Canada. Like, Canada's a lot more strict about it than we are.
No,
like,
it's going back that's the issue for him.
Correct.
It's not getting here. It's the.
He likes to be by himself anyway in the woods.
Yeah.
You know,
which is
like,
all the more
I mean,
reason that I feel like
we
he
talked
would
about
not.
it. Like he had a private, he had a pilot living with him. You know, the one he had. Like, that was a while ago, but like technically he could just fly in. America doesn't care. Like, you know.
No, but it's getting back.
It's getting back
home.
but it's getting back home. But if he has like citizenship or residency there, he just has to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, he likes being in the woods by himself,
so it wouldn't matter to him anyway. Probably, yeah. That's why I think it's a possibility.
But do you think, but without like a God, man, I mean, I personally, I obviously don't want it to happen. I can see both sides of what you're saying, Duncan. I think they're gonna wait till they can have more of a crowd. I feel like I don't think he's not coming back. Like, he's going to come back at some point.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I think it's going to, I really think he wants to do it with a crowd, and Vince wants to do it with like a full-on crowd.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
not
Like,
going to
and
go
like,
with a half
and I
crowd
think
and cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, and I think Brock can just be like, I can wait. You know, like.
I just think they want to. I just think they want to give.
Less fine with waiting.
And the longer that you wait, the bigger of a deal it is when Brock comes back.
But yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, to Owen's point, I start looking at it from a business perspective and deal. You just switched over to Peacock. You now have all of these millions of viewers. Now it's like you have all of these people that are already hooked in who maybe might not have been watching. Now are like, oh, maybe I'll just check out WrestleMania. It's 2 nights. It's like fucking Brock Lesnar, and then it's at least on replay, and you're getting those views, you know. So there's multiple sides that I can see this happening.
Yeah, it could literally go either way. I don't think they waste one of Brock's big money appearances in a triple threat.
I can see your point. But and I don't think. By the way, I don't think Brock wins at Mania if this. What I'm saying, it comes to fruition. I don't think he wins. I think it's all set up. First off, too, like having Mania on 2 days is another big reason. I think that it, the card might need that star power on one of the nights. So I can see them, go in that route.
You're gonna have Goldberg. Don't worry about it.
I don't think you're gonna have Goldberg.
No, it's Goldberg. It's fine.
Fuck. I'd rather Brock than Goldberg.
But
I'd rather the stadium catch on fire.
So
with me in it.
I'd rather another pandemic.
Oh dear.
Yeah, a different one.
A different one, yeah, a completely different kind.
Yeah, maybe a dude eats a possum this time in a wet market.
Right.
It's in South America instead of China.
Yeah. But I mean, chat just said if Brock comes back, maybe go up against Roman. If that happens, I see Roman winning, which would be
It's not happening.
It's not happening, but if you're gonna do that, Heyman's in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So there is the storyline. They already have the storyline together, but I feel like Roman would have to win that right now because of just what they're doing with him. It would destroy the momentum and like that head of the table and everything, you know?
Well, WWE have made it official for Mania, at least, that it will be Edge and Roman.
Edge and Roman.
So that's not happening at Mania. I can see them doing that story down the road. There is a built-in story there with the Heyman connection, and I think that there's probably some decent, compelling story stuff that you can do with that. But without a doubt, Roman has to come out on top of that feud. It has to be done in that way. I cannot see them, burying Roman, like you said. It strips away that momentum. Exactly what you said.
Which is what makes the Mania match with Edge a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Because Owen, you and I were talking about it the other day, and he's just like, Edge, you said Edge could win, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I kind of hope he does.
I think he might. Like,
He
I'm going back.
probably will.
I'm going back and forth, and I got to see how the weeks shake out. But I can see Edge winning and being that first to take down Roman. Now I don't know that he holds the championship for that long, and then maybe Roman wins it back at SummerSlam or something like that. But there's something to be done with that there. Can we discuss another match that I heard as potentially happening, especially with what happened on last night's Raw, and the Braun Strowman appearance, sort of demanding that he be placed in, a match with The Miz. He was given a match against Lashley. If he won the match, he would go on to be in a triple threat the following week for the title. And obviously that didn't happen for Braun. Braun lost clean, which nice to see that, again, they're investing something in Lashley, that they're going to, actually not have a screwy finish for once and, put him over. But the talk of the internets has been that we're going to get a Braun versus Shane match at WrestleMania. And
I read that a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, like Braun showed up and yelled at Shane or some shit.
They've got something brewing there. Yeah.
I know that there was a thing with them a couple of years ago.
Featuring the fucking little kid who he won the tag titles with.
Sure.
Nicholas, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be Shane and Nicholas against Braun in a handicap match.
Shane's been grooming Nicholas underground.
In Raw Underground. He's been grooming him in the underground. It's just Shane, Nicholas, those two strippers, and a pile of cocaine.
Yeah.
And was his Dabakato just hanging out?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess, like, you have so many other you don't need Shane.
No, you don't.
You don't need Shane. You don't need him to have another Mania moment.
We don't need Shane. We don't need Triple H. We don't need Batista. Like, I'm trying to think of all the fucking, like...
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Brock.
CM Punk.
Right. I do
Punk would probably be a bigger damn draw than almost all the rest of those. It would get all of the old lapsed fans that want nothing to do with WWE because they're too cool for it.
Except for The Rock.
Well, that's just, he's a different level. I mean, let's be real. That's like having Barack Obama in a fucking, WrestleMania match.
You're going to get half of the crowd to turn off if you put Obama in.
That's true. I like the comment from Facebook here. Goldberg versus Cena with the stadium on fire.
You know what? I can get into that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, that's almost like a Firefly Funhouse match.
That's like the ultimate Inferno
and
match.
I think that that's still what we're somewhat going to get, which is a cinematic Firefly Funhouse, the way they did last year, which Cena could be a part of, but he's like a character.
I still love
in
the
that
idea
funhouse.
of Cena just like in there, and
he's lost in there.
That's super long, and like his hair and his nails are all grown out, and he's just like,
hilarious.
You can't
like
see
they could,
me, can you?
Yeah.
I would love to. I would absolutely love that. But
that would be
I'm
like the
holding out
most
hope that they're
meta
gonna do
shit.
that. And that's the best way to get. I mean, because you have to bring the Fiend back at some point, and what a better time than Mania? You have Randy Orton and Alexa still doing their thing. You had him spitting up, I don't know, oil.
Yeah,
dude, he went full
Shango.
Shango. I have in my notes.
Yeah.
Is Alexa Bliss related to Papa Shango? I'm thinking.
I don't think Alexa Bliss smokes enough weed to be related to Papa Shango.
That's fair.
I watched a video on Instagram earlier of the Godfather taking nose dabs, and I'm just like,
what's a nose dab? Is it nose dab?
It's a dab through your nose.
Oh, that's rough. Okay.
I mean, I've done it. It doesn't feel great.
No, I imagine not.
It's stupid stoner tricks.
But yeah, I mean, you do kind of have to bring. I mean, when the Fiend comes back, are we gonna? What do you think? It's just a new mask, like kind of like a burnt version of the Fiend or something. Like, is that what we're?
I think there's got to be like some sort of like burn or scar, or new scar or stitch type
Something.
thing that's like
Gotta
into
be
it.
there's
And
gotta
it
be some sort of
probably
like
glows in the
Phoenix
dark.
element to it, right?
The rise from the ashes type idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe the mask is a lot more like soot covered and dirty, and you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit more, instead of it having that demonic smile, like maybe the smile has sort of been like melted away.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, maybe it's that smile is melted into a frown, even.
Or melted into like a scowl or something like that. Like, yeah.
And I think they could do. I like that idea because I think they could also do some of the stuff if they're still the limited crowd or like no crowd on the Raws or SmackDown after that, where it's just the Thunderdome. They could do what they've done with Alexa Bliss, where it's like the outfit change and stuff. Like he could have that, and that's the new one. Then all of a sudden he gets this like look, and then it's like back to the old one for a second, and like he has this attack mode, and then goes back to like
I like it.
I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy that we've had a bit of a break from the Fiend though for a while, and it's been sort of clever keeping him in a way on TV through Alexa Bliss and giving us a break from the actual Fiend. And I imagine that obviously this is good storyline wise, but I imagine he's probably gone through some shit too with, of course, the loss of John Huber, who I'm sure he was quite close with. Right. So giving him a bit of time off to grieve isn't the worst thing in the world either.
Yeah, and I thought that, and I think that despite that, they've kept the Fiend off TV way longer than I thought they were going to.
I agree.
Insanely longer than I thought they were going to. So, for as much as WWE creative fucks a lot of things up, and I mean, basically, this is the writing room every Tuesday evening when we talk wrestling.
Obviously.
But
where else are they going to get their ideas from?
Exactly.
But yeah, I think they've done a good job. I just really hope they don't fuck it up.
I agree. I agree.
Like they've done a good job so far. So, hey guys, gals, don't fuck it up.
Fingers crossed on this one. Come on now.
Yeah.
Another thing that I hope,
bring it home.
Another thing that I truly hope they don't fuck up is that we got the announcement last night on Raw that Rhea Ripley will be a Raw superstar.
She had a little program
eventually.
Package.
Yeah. Didn't say when, just said coming soon. Excuse me. And yeah, as we always, let's be honest, we're always a little bit worried when we get an NXT call up. She's one that I could see. I mean, she's got everything. She's got everything that you need to be a Raw superstar. Just let her do her thing like she's done in NXT. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. And just, don't Shayna Baszler us with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the thing. Like, why, when they do something like this, I don't know. I'm concerned for her, but she fucking seems tough as nails and like she's true to herself. So I don't know that she'll like not go out without a fucking fight when it comes to choices with creative. But I don't know what she's actually like behind the scenes.
Right.
I've met her. She's really, really nice. Like she's very nice, very polite. Like, I don't know what she's like with creative, but she seems.
I think she's got some guts behind her though too. I think she's got some guts. Like she won't. Yeah, she won't lay down.
She's a world of difference from the Rhea Ripley that was in the first
Mae Young Classic. Yeah, she is. Remember, I mean, she was like a blonde, long hair blonde.
She was a Charlotte clone.
She was
That's
absolutely.
What they called her.
Yep.
She posted a picture a while ago, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks or something, to like Instagram or something. Is like her kind of dressed up in a kind of sports coat, but still kind of her bad at. And she was like, it was something like like something like, that she's like still a badass but can be sweet at
Yeah,
times.
like one part don't mess with me, one part.
Yeah,
like,
and I was like, I like it even more.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan.
She has the built-in feud ready to go with Charlotte, though.
She has that feud, but I also want to see her against Asuka as well.
And you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I think you need her. You need her to have that big high-profile match on the main roster.
Yeah. The Charlotte one is the way to go. I mean, that is the way to do it.
I think so, and I think at Mania and having Rhea go over at Mania.
Yes.
In a one-on-one singles match, just
no frills, just
no
no
belt
stip,
involved.
no belt, just a one-on-one with Charlotte. That's all you need. Speaking of Asuka, though, as well.
But do you
go ahead,
have
sorry. Finish your thought.
Ripley win, go clean over Flair, and then what do you think they do with Belair? With Bianca Belair? Like, do you think they?
Well,
I don't think they pull the trigger on both of them
on the same night.
I think they absolutely would. No, and they wouldn't. One of them would be on Saturday. One of them would be on Sunday.
That's a good point. And if the belt's not involved with Charlotte, it's not like you're changing two champions either.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, the only question is with that, like, what the hell do you do with Asuka? And how do you have that go down at WrestleMania? Who's her opponent? I mean, because obviously all that stuff's been kind of scrapped. It was probably going to end up being like the Charlotte turn on Asuka, leading Charlotte to have the belt, to have a match with Lacey Evans. I mean, I'm guessing that was probably the way that they were going to go. That's obviously not in the cards now. So Asuka's kind of a little bit lost in the shuffle right now. Obvious thing is you have a three-way with Asuka, Rhea, and Charlotte. I mean, like, they could do that.
They could do that, but then it's like Rhea needs that win.
Either way, no matter how you boil it down. And you know what? She needs the pin over Flair more than she needs the win itself.
Correct.
She can't be, like, it would mean almost less if the match, like, Rhea wins the title, but she's pinning Asuka for the title. She needs to pin Flair in a triple threat for the title.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. Speaking again of Asuka, you see she lost a tooth on last night's show.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, dude. Like Shayna fucking you could tell that she went a little bit stiffer than she meant to and immediately dropped, and she's just like, yo, everything cool. Like you could tell she kind of broke a little bit. But...
Yeah, she did. And Asuka looked like she's a tough son of a bitch. She finished the match, did everything that she was supposed to do, but she looked a little glazed over, if I'm not I don't think I'm alone in saying that. She looked a little bit concussed.
That it takes to knock a fucking tooth out?
No thanks.
Like, you saw how hard Cesaro hit the fucking pole when it jammed his teeth up into his gums.
That's still, to this day, what I find funny about that is I can't remember now Cesaro without a mouth guard. Like, he never wore one before that incident, and now he's never taken that chance again. He's like, nope, fuck this.
And the best thing that came out of that, our good brother Jay Jansen has the shirt, but it's the Thrift Cyborg.
Oh, that is a good shirt, yes. What do you do with Cesaro at the moment now, too? Like, that's an interesting one, because he was having such a good run. He was he went on a bit of a spree there.
I don't think he's done having a good run just because he didn't win the chamber. Like, come on. Like, we all kind of figured.
Oh, yeah. None of us really thought he would win it.
And he had an all right showing.
He did.
He had a really good showing.
Yeah.
Like, the last three,
Yeah. But wasn't it him and Debray that started the thing?
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah. So, he did the swing into the cage, modified version. Like, that was good. I mean, again, it, like Shamus, didn't do a disservice to him by winning. No one, I think, thought they were going to win. Either of them was going to win one of the matches.
Right.
But again, what do you do with him from here? Booking.
I don't know what program you put him into. I mean, I guess you could go Cesaro Riddle.
I was about to say Cesaro Riddle is like the only thing that kind of makes sense.
Put him in the U.S. title picture. Like, I wouldn't mind that.
That's not the same roster, though.
Oh, wait. I always get
not
them
the same
mixed up.
roster.
I always get them mixed up. Like,
Cesaro's on
Riddle's-
SmackDown.
Mazzaro's on SmackDown
Yeah.
now. Yeah, you're right.
Who's the Intercontinental Champion?
Big E,
Ah,
which would work. Cesaro, Big E would work. And there's
which would work, but they're really pushing this Apollo Crews thing. Is okay. Thoughts on heel Apollo?
better than face Apollo.
Okay, that's kind of all I could say as well.
Yeah, but still not.
But not
Fucking
overly
into it.
inspired by it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
But-
No,
but I
I'm not
didn't-
like I'm not hype on it.
no.
but I'm more likely to not pick up my phone and start looking at something else during an Apollo Crews match
Yes.
if he's being a merciless prick.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you could also kind of say that there's tinges of a bit of a Big E heel turn as well. There's tinges.
Yeah.
So you could kind of go the route like I would like to see heel Big E versus a face Cesaro
Yeah.
rather than the other way around.
I could see that.
And have them have like a pretty long program too. Like you could stretch that out after, for quite a few matches, and then maybe you do. Maybe you eventually have Big E drop. They could flip flop that title a couple of times even in that. Like you could go that route. Have Cesaro like with the IC title.
Every time we bring somebody up, it's just like, okay, well, you do that, but then what do you do with this person? And then eventually we're just going to end up at the top, and it's what do we do with Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
And the answer is put
Well,
him in a home.
And then it's like, what do you do with Shinsuke? And
Right.
What do you do with?
Right. So we've got so many.
Well, it's just so much talent too, and on both rosters.
So much
all three.
talent.
So much talent, and with how much time there is every single week to WWE programming, still can't showcase all of it.
No, without a doubt.
We have so much time dedicated to dumb shit.
Yeah, we do.
Like segments that everybody knows isn't gonna go anywhere, and it's just like, why are we doing this?
No, I'm right there with you. Do you want to maybe switch gears and talk a little bit about AEW?
No, I want to bitch about WWE more. God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about AEW.
Yeah, well, okay. Actually, before we do, I will say I don't know if you guys saw this, but A&E are doing a biography series coming out.
Dude,
soon.
with AJ Francis, who is in Reginald's Performance Center class. They got signed together a year ago. Those two were doing Instagram videos called Top Flight Security, which was sort of like what is it, next Friday after next, the one with the security guards, sort of like